Hey up folks, I'm Guy Kestevan the Tester Man, and this is my talk through on Hope's Carbon Crankset. And I've not even forgotten part of the name there. It's typical Hope. Well, it's a crankset and it's made of carbon, so that's what we call it. I mean, it is based in part on their Evo alloy crankset, but there's some improvements on that crankset in terms of practicality and performance, because rather than just an alloy machined arm, what you've got is you've got a foam core, really dense foam core, which gives it the basis for them to form the carbon around, and also provides a damping effect to the crank as well. So it's specifically designed to damp a bit of shock and to be a comfortable as well as acceptably stiff crank. It's not, it's not a proper foot hurter in terms of stiffness, but it's definitely not flexy either. And it is a really good balanced feel on the bike. And as you can see, you've got a 1K weave around the outside, which is kind of like your scuff and impact protection. And after about 6 months use on the Trek, plenty of hammer. Very, very few marks on it. And all the logos are still perfectly intact. It's a little bit of scuffing on the end, but nothing too bad. And then the actual heart of the crank is all T700 carbon fibre. And it's all laid up in their factory in Lancashire, as per usual. And then you've got their own proprietary spline system on the back. And that works with an alloy insert that's bonded into the back of the crank. And then you've got the actual sort of crank hardware, the bolts and everything are sat inside there. And then you've got pedal thread inserts, which literally just squeeze in top to bottom. That's threaded. And as you pull the, that's threaded. And as you as you screw the pedal into that end, that tightens it all up together. Which means, as you'll see, this is all jazzed up nice and purple and fresh. But while I was running it on the Trek, it was all red, because that went with the Trek. So that's me, carbon crank washer and the pedal end washer are all sat in there. And to be honest, I had a bit of a fight getting them out because I misread the instructions. Ignore the arrows on that. That's for the bolt inside. You actually do it counter to the arrows on there if you find yourself wanting to change the colour coding on your crank. And this is the only place you'll find any information. I rang Hope. Even they didn't know, well, not on a Friday afternoon anyway, and there was nowhere on the internet, there's nowhere in their instructions on how to do it. And you do still need some proprietary tools for this. The actual spline sort of tool there. I mean, it's all nicely machined stuff, and it all fits together well. And then there's another specific tool you need for removing that. But on a bright note, you don't need a specific tool to take the crank on and off. You just need a 10mm, he says, picking up an 8mm. But anyway, 10mm will get you on and off with that bolt in the centre, so it doesn't need a specific tool to take the crank on and off, which was one of the downsides of the original Evo crank. Comes in with the 30mm axle, the alloy axle there, and then obviously you got the tensioning collar there to take up the slack. You can get it in 52 or 55mm chain lines, and you can choose between 28 and 36 tooth direct mount chain rings there. The only slightly weird thing is that it comes in 3 lengths. It comes in 155, 165 and 170. So I mean, everyone is trending towards shorter cranks now, but it seems weird not having a 1725, maybe even a 175, because not everyone's buying into the shorter crank. And then there's a big old leap from 165 to 155. It's not an eccentric pedal washer or anything in the end there, so you can't change length with that. And obviously every length they make is a new mould. Or it's a little jumpy is the range. I mean, obviously if they do the size you want, then fine. But if you're in between, that's a bit of a pain. And in terms of weight, 504 grams is good. It's really light, actually. Hope tend to be a little heavier on their components, even with the carbon ones, and go for strength. And this has been, as I say, rock solid cosmetically and structurally through all the times I've had it. And it's had a proper, it's doing proper trail work. It's not just been used as an XC crank or anything like that. It's been battered around all over the rocks of Yorkshire and the north. I mean, I'm not big on jumping or anything like that, so I can't speak to how it will hold up if you run it in a bike park or do downhilling on it, but certainly for trail use, I'd thoroughly recommend it in terms of strength. Got no concerns about it there. And the weight, the 504 gram weight, is competitive, not quite as light as the Race Face era or the SRAM XXSL, but very close. The only thing is, it is considerably more expensive than those cranks. It's 50 quid more than the SRAM currently. And hang on, let me do the maths. This is 640 quid with the ring added. It's 575 just for the crank arms. So if you've got a ring, you can just buy them, and then 65 quid for the ring. But the Race Face era is 510 quid with the crank arms and the ring, and that's a lighter crank, and that comes with a lifetime warranty, which this doesn't. So, you know, yeah, very competitive crank, comes in a bunch of colour options, it's handmade here in the north of England, which is all positive points. You don't need as many specialist tools, and it's got a great feel on the bike, but you are paying a little bit more for that homespun Hope technology. So that's my opinion of it and feedback on it. Anyway, I'm going to be fitting this. So expect a series of bike build videos around this crank, and I'll let you have a guess at what that bike might be in the comments, seeing as it's now purple. And but also in the comments, if you've used Hope cranks, or if you've used any of their other products, or you've used the Race Face era or competing cranks from SRAM or whoever, then it'd be great if you could add your feedback to the review comments as well, because that way we get more feedback and everyone gets a better review at the end of it. Oh, one thing I was going to say, yep, I haven't colour changed this. It's still the, well, I basically didn't order in advance, so you can actually just replace the bearings, and I don't know if they sell the cups separately. I'll have to ask about that, because it would be nice to get colour and cuffs on it. But yeah, that's the bottom bracket there, as you can see. Enduro bearings inside. It's all looking a bit filthy externally, but still super sweet. Smooth rotation on the inside, thanks to those Enduro bearings. Although, yeah, you know, they are a channel sponsor, so. But as you can see, you know, the things are still spinning perfectly easily, which is why, you know, I'm happy being sponsored by them, because it's something I need yet another product I can get behind. But, oh yeah, some people do ask. I'm not being paid for this. Hope don't sponsor me in any way. I mean, they sent me the crank for free, which is grand to try, but they don't sponsor the channel. And so, to be honest, even if they did, I say this when people ask, to be honest, even if they did, I've been in the game long enough that people know that if they support the channel, whether it's with product or whether it's with, you know, a cash, even though the channel sponsor, they know it's not going to change my opinion, because my worth to them is my honest opinion. So if they can buy that opinion, ironically, it's worthless, if you see what I mean. But if I didn't make that clear, just hit me up in the comments and I'll explain myself better. So, yeah. What do I need to say? Yeah, oh, yeah, the usual stuff. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click the notification. Tell your mates. Give it a thumbs up, like. And if you really like what I'm doing here on the channel, then please consider sponsoring me on Patreon on a monthly basis. Or you can do the new thing on YouTube now, where you like just drop a donation in there, which a few people are doing. So thank you very much to those guys. And but yeah, stick around and you'll see where this crank ends up. And I've got some more product videos coming up shortly, a couple of factory tours and a gravel bike build as well, with some new fancy stuff on it. And that one's really interesting because it goes right from the pipe all the way through to the complete bike. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Have a cracking time on the trail, folks. Hopefully see you out there.